January 1888, Dakota Territory. Winter on the prairie was not beautiful snow. It was endless white space where the wind had nothing to stop it. It struck walls, skin, lungs. 19-year-old Kate Campen stood outside their small sod house near Marion, watching her husband Wilhelm ride toward Parker, 23 miles away, for coal and supplies. The fuel was almost gone. Winter did not wait. The next day, her labor began. There was no doctor, no midwife, no neighbor close enough to hear her cry. Only Kate and the wind. She gave birth alone to a boy she named Henry. And alone did not mean brave and cinematic. It meant pain, fear, shaking hands, cutting the cord, fighting not to faint. It meant surviving because there was no other choice. But the hardest part came after. The stove was cold, the coal was gone. Water froze in minutes. A newborn cannot wait for warmth. So Kate did the only thing she could. She lay down and wrapped herself around her son, skin to skin, breath to breath. She became his blanket, his stove, his wall against the cold. She barely slept, afraid that if she drifted too deeply, his tiny body would cool. On January 12th, the sky turned without warning. What history would later call the children's blizzard swept across the Great Plains. Temperatures collapsed. Winds erased roads and swallowed sound. Hundreds would die. Kate did not know its name. She only knew, keep him warm one more minute. And then one more. For 3 days, the storm howled. She was weak, hungry, exhausted, but she did not loosen her hold. She whispered not even prayers to God, but promises to herself. Stay. Stay, stay. Meanwhile, Wilhelm was caught in the storm. The horses failed. He survived in a barn, pressing himself against animals for warmth. Love stripped down to instinct, survive and return. On the 4th day, the wind stopped. Then came footsteps. Wilhelm stood in the doorway, frozen, exhausted, alive, carrying coal. He brought fire back into the house. But for 3 days, Kate had already been the fire. They were weak, but they were alive. And that is why this story matters. Because love is not always loud. Sometimes it is walking into a storm. Sometimes it is staying awake for 3 nights. Sometimes it is simply refusing to give up for 1 more minute. The moral is simple. True heroism is quiet. It is endurance. It is becoming the warmth someone else needs, even when the whole world has turned to ice.